Storytelling is a complex thing. Characters, plot, and all the good parts of a story add layers to engage someone in reading it, or in some cases, watching it. Movies and books are both in this bracket of storytelling we see today because of how much the craft has evolved. Uniqueness in cultures, philosophy, and more factor into how the stories are created. Looking into the past of writings, we see myths. They had a purpose in telling a moral to a culture, usually of primitive source. The most high position in these myths would portray the hero, the height of a human's ability of the mind, body, and soul that everyone would and should strive for. This leaves us with the hero's journey, also known as the monomyth. The call to action, the wise old man, the refusal of the call, the magic item, the transformation. We have seen it many times in stories. From Greek myths to Night Tales to Lord of the Rings and even to Star Wars. There's too many to list. The Hero with a Thousand Faces is a book that expands on this idea and directs to why we tell these stories, as well to why we have told it for so long. However, this is where I must object to the narrative that many seem to push. The hero's journey states that all stories share the same core value and structure and themes. This is simply not true. There are many stories that are abstract to each other and you wouldn't be able to compare them. Trying to compare Harry Potter and Fault in Our Stars in their similarities is not an easy task, as they are completely different from each other fundamentally. The book does not accurately portray how much storytelling has evolved from where it began. From simple adventures to great epics, the hero's journey is a structure for great tales of simple characters with a stronger moral to tell. But not all stories follow this template. For example, stories like Toy Story do not follow this, as characters change through their own complex reasoning of situations they are put in contrast to situations deciding how characters act to depict a moral of the monomyth. Expanding on this idea, we see Buzz Lightyear come into Andy's room, causing discourse, especially with Woody. This may seem like Buzz is the antagonist, however Woody pushes him out the window. We immediately then see Woody as the antagonist. This is in no way connected to the hero's journey, as characters need simple roles to fit into the forward-moving narrative when following it. Not all the stories connect to the formulaic style of the hero's journey, as characters become more complex with non-traditional stories. The larger examples of the hero's journey are like Star Wars, indefinitely true to how they follow the pattern. George Lucas made sure of, after studying the book A Hero with a Thousand Faces, as he adapted it in A New Hope. But not all stories follow these tropes as consciously as they used to, mostly because we are looking at more complex characters rather than a simple moral now. Some elements are basic storytelling, like a climax and the falling of action, so the hero's journey cannot take credit for that. The book A Hero with a Thousand Faces provides a great outlook on how stories use this template and the history of it. However, as I stated before, stories are more complex now, and it's more of a history book than a way of telling the perfect story. In conclusion, stories create an escape to somewhere newly complex, familiarly simple, or anything anyone can imagine. Limiting ideas to the hero's journey is a dangerous fallacy. If every story had the same structure, creativity in writing and storytelling would die. When stepping back, stories are now just not as traditional as they used to be. Cultural and traditional views have combined as the world is more connected now, allowing more open libraries on topics to write about. I'm Synthstatic. Stay tuned for more.